In the summer of 2005, on the beautiful shores of Sunhaven Beach, Australia, the Harris family gathered for their annual beach vacation. Mark Harris, an adventurous surfer, and his wife Sarah were looking forward to spending quality time with their two kids, Emma and Jack. The sun was shining and the waves were perfect for surfing. Little did they know that this vacation would turn into a terrifying and unforgettable ordeal. Sunhaven Beach had always been a favorite spot for the Harris family. The golden sand, crystal-clear waters, and stunning cliffs made it a picturesque destination. However, this serene setting hid a dark secret. Beneath the waters lurked a giant predator, a great white shark known as Old Scars. This infamous creature had been sighted in the area several times, but the locals had always managed to avoid serious encounters. As the Harris family settled into their beachfront rental, they felt a sense of blissful relaxation. Mark was eager to hit the waves, and Emma and Jack couldn't wait to build sandcastles and play in the shallows. Sarah, however, couldn't shake off a feeling of unease. On the first day, as Mark surfed, Sarah noticed a group of lifeguards patrolling the beach with binoculars. She overheard them talking about increased shark activity in the area. The lifeguards were on high alert but didn't want to spoil the holiday atmosphere for the tourists. As the days passed, the Harris family enjoyed the sun and surf, unaware of the lurking danger. One sunny morning, while Mark was catching waves and Emma and Jack played on the shore, Sarah noticed a shadowy figure moving in the waters not far from where her husband surfed. Fear gripped her heart as she realized it was Old Scars. Sarah ran towards the lifeguard station and frantically pointed at the water, warning them about the shark. The lifeguards immediately sounded the alarm, signaling everyone to evacuate the water. Panic spread across the beach as people rushed to safety. Mark, unaware of the danger, was still riding the waves. The lifeguards raced to their boats, hoping to divert the shark from the beach. They knew the waters well and planned to drive it toward a less populated area. But before they could reach Mark, it was too late. As Mark paddled back to shore, relief washed over him. He had no idea that danger was lurking just below the surface. Suddenly, he felt a powerful force yank him underwater, and before he could react, the jaws of the massive great white shark clamped down on his leg. The pain was excruciating, and he screamed for help, desperately struggling to break free. Sarah and the kids watched in horror from the shore, their hearts pounding in their chests. They could see Mark thrashing in the water, but he was no match for the relentless strength of the predator. Fear gripped them as they realized the danger he was in. The lifeguards, alerted by Sarah's frantic cries, sprang into action. They reached Mark's location within seconds and found a bloody scene. The shark dragged him underwater, leaving only traces of his board. Determined to save him, they immediately initiated a search and rescue operation, but the chances of finding Mark alive were slim. The water churned with chaos as the lifeguards dove beneath the surface, scanning the depths for any sign of Mark. Time was running out, and every second felt like an eternity. The waves crashed around them, adding to the sense of urgency. Minutes felt like hours as they combed through the water, their eyes darting in every direction. Finally, one of the lifeguards spotted something, a glimmer of hope. He saw a faint shadow moving among the rocks, and he swam toward it with a burst of adrenaline. They found Mark hidden in the shadows, still fighting for his life. The shark had released him momentarily, but the battle was far from over. His leg was mangled, and blood clouded the water around him. The lifeguards pulled him to the surface, and with all their strength, they managed to get him onto the rescue board. Mark's face was pale and his eyes were filled with pain, but he refused to give up. The lifeguards paddled back to shore as fast as they could, knowing that every second counted. On the shore, Sarah and the kids waited anxiously, their hearts heavy with dread. They saw the lifeguards approaching with Mark on the board, and relief washed over them. But their relief turned to fear once more as they saw the enormity of Mark's injuries. The shark had torn through his leg, leaving a gaping wound that oozed with blood. The lifeguards rushed him to the beach, where a team of paramedics stood ready. They worked frantically to stabilize Mark and get him ready for transport to the hospital. As they loaded Mark into the ambulance, Sarah held back tears, her mind racing with fear and worry. Emma and Jack clung to her, their innocent faces marred with the trauma they had witnessed. The ambulance roared to life and sped away, its sirens echoing in the distance. Sarah and the kids were left standing on the beach, shaken to their core. The once idyllic vacation had turned into a nightmare. and they knew their lives would never be the same. Back in the water, the lifeguards continued searching for the shark, determined to prevent further attacks. They knew that Old Scars was still lurking in the depths, and they were determined to protect the beachgoers from its deadly grasp. The incident sent shockwaves through the entire community. News of the attack spread like wildfire, and the once bustling beach became a ghost town. Fear gripped the hearts of locals and tourists alike, and many vowed never to set foot in the water again. The lifeguards redoubled their efforts to keep the beach safe, patrolling the waters day and night. They installed warning systems and posted signs to alert swimmers of potential dangers. In the days that followed, Mark underwent multiple surgeries and faced a long road to recovery. His leg would never be the same, but his spirit remained unbroken. He was determined to heal, not just for himself but for his family. In the year 2005, the small coastal town of Port Fairy in Australia was abuzz with excitement. The crystal-clear waters of the ocean enticed adventurous souls, beckoning them to explore the mysteries that lay beneath. Among these thrill-seekers was Henry Boers, an experienced underwater photographer and the lead saxophonist of a Melbourne-based rock and roll band. Accompanied by his girlfriend, Jill Ratcliffe, and two close friends, Fred Arndt and Dietmar Krupa, Henry had planned an exciting expedition to Lady Julia Percy Island. Lady Julia Percy Island, located 22 kilometers from Port Fairy, was a remote volcanic island formed millions of years ago by violent underwater eruptions. It stood as a sanctuary for Australian fur seals and rare seabirds, creating a unique and captivating habitat for marine enthusiasts like Henry. As the group prepared to set sail, the locals whispered tales of Big Ben, a massive great white shark that was said to prowl the waters around the island. Henry and his friends dismissed the stories as mere exaggerations, attributing them to the awe-inspiring presence of seals on the island's shores. The expedition began with excitement and anticipation. The group of friends sailed on a commercial shark fishing boat, eager to capture the beauty of the underwater world on film. The day was bright, and the ocean waves seemed welcoming as they approached Lady Julia Percy Island. Diving into the waters, Henry's heart pounded with excitement. The underwater world was a kaleidoscope of colors and marine life. Seals playfully darted around, seemingly curious about the visitors in their territory. Henry's camera clicked away, capturing the mesmerizing moments as he swam deeper into the ocean. But little did he know that the lurking shadow of Big Ben was about to shatter the tranquility of the day. As he filmed a bull seal amidst its harem, a sudden shift in the water caught his attention. The seals around him began to scatter, and a sense of unease washed over him. In an instant, the serene underwater world turned into a scene of chaos and terror. Henry felt a massive force pulling him downward as the jaws of a great white shark clamped down on his leg. Panic surged through him as he realized the predator's intentions. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, Henry fought for his life, kicking and punching at the shark's snout with all his strength. The shark, however, was a powerful force of nature, and its grip on his leg was unrelenting. As he struggled, he could hear the screams of his friends from the boat. Their faces were contorted with fear and shock. They shouted words of encouragement, urging him to break free, but the water muffled their voices and their help felt so far away. In a desperate move, Henry gouged at the shark's eyes, hoping to weaken its hold. The creature's grip momentarily loosened, and he kicked himself away from the shark's deadly embrace. Gasping for breath, Henry swam towards the surface with all the strength he could muster. Blood trailed behind him, painting the water in a macabre dance. The shark, not one to give up easily, circled back, determined to claim its prey. As Henry reached the surface, he cried out for help, his voice hoarse and strained. His friends on the boat sprang into action, pulling him aboard with all their might. The shark's ominous shadow hides beneath the surface, a constant reminder of the lingering danger. Once on the boat, Henry's leg was a gruesome sight. The wound was deep and bleeding profusely. Fear and adrenaline still coursed through him as his friends applied makeshift tourniquets and called for immediate medical assistance. With every passing moment, the fear of losing Henry intensified. The minutes felt like hours as they rushed back to the shore, the sound of the boat's engine drowning out all other noise. The coastal town loomed in the distance, a beacon of hope and safety. As the boat reached the shore, paramedics were waiting, ready to provide immediate medical attention. They rushed Henry to the hospital where he would undergo surgery to repair the extensive damage caused by the shark's bite. Henry couldn't help but reflect on the harrowing experience as he lay on the hospital bed. Once a place of beauty and wonder, the ocean now held a terrifying reality he could never forget. In the days that followed, news of the shark attack spread throughout the coastal town. People were both fascinated and fearful, knowing that the waters they loved so much could be home to such a dangerous predator. For Henry, the attack was a life-changing event. The physical scars would heal, but the emotional wounds ran deep. He knew that he would never look at the ocean the same way again, and the once alluring waves now held an ominous presence. Yet, despite the trauma, Henry found solace in the support of his friends and loved ones. They stood by him, offering comfort and encouragement as he navigated the difficult road to recovery. As the days turned into weeks, Henry's physical strength slowly returned. He underwent physical therapy, determined to regain his mobility and face the ocean once more. In the enchanting waters off Florida's Gulf Coast near St. Petersburg, the year was 2002, and a group of adventurous souls set sail on a journey of excitement and celebration. Among them was Natalie Branda, a vivacious 26-year-old passionate about the sea. They boarded the boat, their laughter mingling with the ocean breeze as they embarked on a day of joy to commemorate her friend's birthday. Natalie's heart swelled with happiness as she gazed at the sparkling horizon. The allure of the ocean had always held a special place in her heart, and she relished every opportunity to immerse herself in its splendor. The salty air filled her lungs, invigorating her spirit as she anticipated the adventures awaited her. The sun, a radiant ball of fire, began its descent, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange. But unbeknownst to Natalie and her friends, the ocean's mood was about to change drastically. But fate had something else in store for Natalie that day. As the sun kissed the horizon, the atmosphere changed. The serene seascape transformed into a treacherous domain as a shadow lurked beneath the surface. Without warning, a powerful force yanked Natalie underwater. Panic took hold of her as she felt the vice-like grip of death closing in. A massive great white shark had targeted her. Her heart pounded in her ears and her limbs flailed wildly as she fought for her life. The shark's eyes were like lifeless orbs, its rows of teeth gleaming with deadly intent. Its powerful jaws were relentless, pulling her deeper into the dark abyss. Natalie tried to break free, gasping for air, but the predator's strength was overwhelming. She could feel the crushing pressure on her body as the shark tightened its grip. Above the surface, Natalie's friends were oblivious to the peril that had befallen their dear companion. They continued to laugh and splash, unaware of the unfolding tragedy beneath them. As the light above dimmed, Natalie's world became a battleground between life and death. Her lungs burned for air, and she fought to keep the darkness at bay. The ocean had turned from a place of joy to a realm of terror. Time seemed to warp and slow as Natalie's life flashed before her eyes. Every second felt like an eternity as she grappled with the primal fear of becoming prey to one of the ocean's most formidable creatures. In the distance, she could hear faint screams and cries for help, but the water swallowed the sounds, leaving her isolated in her struggle. Her vision blurred and she could see the shark's enormous form, its razor-sharp teeth inches away from her. The predator's cold, lifeless eyes bore into hers, and Natalie knew that this was a fight for survival, where the victor would determine her fate. In a surge of desperate energy, she mustered all her strength and delivered a powerful kick to the shark's nose. The predator recoiled for a moment, giving Natalie a brief respite. She seized the opportunity, pushing herself upward with all her might. She broke the surface with a burst of speed, gasping for breath. The air was a precious gift as she fought to stay afloat. Her friends on the boat had finally realized the horror beneath the waves and were calling for help. Natalie's body throbbed with pain, but adrenaline coursed through her veins, fueling her determination to survive. She kicked and paddled toward the boat, her heart racing as she fought against exhaustion and fear. Finally, Natalie managed to break free, and her body propelled upwards like a cork. Gasping for air, she frantically swam towards the boat. The water around her was stained crimson, serving as a haunting reminder of the raw power and danger of the ocean. Back on the boat, her friends were in shock. The bite wound on her thigh was extensive, a ghastly sight from her bottom to her belly button. Allie, one of Natalie's closest friends, applied pressure to the wound, her hands trembling. Calling for help, they raced back to the dock, urgency and fear propelling them forward. Natalie's heart pounded with every beat, from the pain and the overwhelming realization that she had come face to face with the ocean's most formidable predator. At the dock, emergency services were ready to receive Natalie. As they rushed her to the hospital, she clung to life, the trauma etched into her memory forever. The shark attack had left its mark on her body and soul. Natalie underwent surgery and 14 stitches sealed the gaping wound. Her body would heal, but the emotional scars would linger far longer. The attack had shaken her to her core, altering her perception of the world beneath the waves. As news of the terrifying encounter spread, the entire coastal community felt a shiver of fear. Florida was renowned for its shark attacks, a reputation that made its waters alluring and perilous. The ocean held secrets and dangers that humbled even the bravest of souls. In the aftermath, Natalie grappled with her emotions. She loved the ocean, but now approached it with newfound caution. The once inviting waters now seemed like a dark abyss, concealing hidden threats. Her resolve to return to the water battled with her fear, leaving her torn between her love for the sea and the haunting memories of the shark's jaws. She knew she couldn't let fear dictate her life, but the ocean had proven to be an untamed force. With her friends by her side, she took tentative steps back into the water, determined to overcome her fear. The ocean had taught her respect, and she would embrace its wonders again, knowing that danger lurked but also understanding that beauty and awe awaited those who dared to venture. Her story became a testament to the delicate balance between humans and the wild. The ocean was a realm of beauty and peril, where respect and vigilance were the keys to survival. Her story echoed through the coastal town, a reminder that life teemed with wonder and peril beneath the tranquil waves. And as the waves crashed and retreated, Natalie Branda remained a symbol of courage and the unyielding spirit of those who faced the terror of the turquoise waters.